Magic the Gathering cards have various rarities, from the ordinary common to the mythic rare.
And Pauper is a format where you play only with commons.
Decks are cheap, but can be very powerful.
We had our viewers vote on one deck to represent every year of the Pauper format and had a field of the strongest Pauper content creators pilot them in a 5-round tournament.
And we finally have it. We have a top 8 of what could possibly be the best Pauper decks of all time.
And we will be bringing you all of the elimination rounds, and after 7 videos, we will finally be able to name a best Pauper deck ever. Thoralf, how does it feel to be going against the best deck ever?
I heard stuff about the Swiss.
Alexander, when you played this in the Swiss, only lost 1 game. Not a match, 1 game.
All right, well, let's start.
Not only that, but because Alexander won all of his games and came first in the Swiss, I'm on the play. Today we're playing Chatterstorm. And to understand this deck, you have to understand the twisted history of the storm mechanic in Magic. It was a really fun idea. The whole concept is you play a card, and then you copy it for every other card you've played that turn. It seemed fun, it seemed big, it seemed flashy. It's also the most banned mechanic in the history of Magic. In almost any format it's legal, they've banned Storm Enablers or Storm cards. Wizards of the Coast even has something called a Storm Scale to say how likely something is to be reprinted. And Storm is the least likely because it's always been a mistake. But a few years ago, they released a set and they decided to try. They decided to make some more Storm cards. They made Chatterstorm and Galvalic Relay. Both of those, either exile cards from the top of the library, and then you can play them next turn, but you copy that for as many cards you've played, or Chatterstorm just puts a 1/1 squirrel into play. What is more harmless than a 1/1 squirrel? Turns out this deck is almost unbeatable. When we're picking the decks to go in the top 8, I picked this last because no one wanted to pick it because it's too strong and it looks bad if you do. This deck is unbeatable. So, I'm sorry, I know it's not great for suspense, but we're just gonna see the Chatterstorm deck do what the Chatterstorm deck does and just hope not to mulligan too much.
I don't specifically like my hand, but I don't think it gets much better. All right, we're playing Elves. It's all about making green creatures, making a lot of them, and making them very big. Unfortunately, we're up against the Usain Bolt of Pauper Chatterstorm, so they are pretty much better in doing green creatures and bigger green creatures and being faster. Now that's problematic, but it's Magic, you still have a chance, so let's see how it goes. We have a starting hand that has quite some tools to fight. We have a Land of the Elf, we can make mana with Priest of Titania and draw cards from this same melody, but also we have a negate in turn 2. That means once Carl wants to start comboing, we can delay that for at least a turn, and I hope that's going to be good enough. Yeah, you know what? We'll try.
Okay, I'll play a Peatbog tapped. It's a land that enters with 2 counters. And when I tap it for mana, I tap it for 2 black, which is great. But once I do that twice, it dies.
It's quite powerful to have 2 mana twice, and then if I'm dead, you don't need any mana. I'll draw. I'll play Forest and a Finton Elf. Boop.
I'll untap, I'll draw. I'll play tap Geothermical Crevice. Kind of the same thing. I can tap it for black and green, but then it's gone. But that's okay. In the meantime, I'm gonna play a Night's Whisper. I'll use a counter here. I would lose 2 life and draw 2 cards. Draw 2. Thoralf? I hope you're enjoying this turn, because this might be the last one you have. I'll pass.
Draw. So my plan was usually to cast the Priest of Titania, and then next turn when we have a lot of mana, draw some cards and have a negate as backup. But Carl making that statement and me drawing another Land of Elf kind of makes me want to keep up negate, so at least we can have a little bit of interaction. I'll tap the green and play another Land of Elf, which this time is an actual Land of Elf. I'll play an island and pass the turn.
You play islands in that deck.
I do.
I'm gonna start things off by sacrificing my Peatbogs. Oh no, how will I ever play spell?
Well, you have 2 black mana.
I will use them for Cabal Ritual.
Oh.
It'll add 3 black to my mana pool.
Carl is trying to storm off here and we have 1 negate. So we kind of have to figure out on which spell do we want to use to negate. And unfortunately, it's a storm deck. So my counter spells become worse and worse because every spell played adds to the storm, and counter spells aren't really good against storm cards because they put a lot of copies of played spells onto the stack. So instead of using the counter spell for one of the late game payoffs that have storm, we will focus on denying the mana so Carl can't even start. And with a little bit of luck, he's maybe left with only payoffs and card draw for now. So I think we're gonna have to stop you right there and negate the girl creature.
You know what? I was not expecting this main board. It kind of hurts, but this has become our turn. because you've added to the storm count. This is one card.
I did add to
This is
this
one
one
card. But we'll start counting the amount of spells that were cast this turn.
Which usually is never a good sign.
I'm going to sacrifice my Geothermal Crevice to make a black and a green. I'm going to play a Manamorphose. I'll add to my storm count.
What do you want?
A black and a red.
All right.
I will draw a card. I will then play a Dark Ritual using the black, turning it into 3 black. I will then use the red to play a Rite of Flame, turning my 1 red into 2. I will use one of the reds for Faithless Looting. What's my storm count?
6.
I'll draw 2 and discard these 2. Use 2 black for a Night's Wisp. 16. Storm count 7, draw 2 cards. Ooh.
Oh.
I will use my land for a Manamorphose. Red and green.
All right.
Draw a card.
You know this ape who does like this all the time? This is what happening right now.
Red and green
Yeah,
to make another red and green.
But you only have 2 mana.
Red and green to make another red and green.
Okay. So now you're just dancing.
But I done so well. I'm going to play Lotus Petal. This also adds. I will use the red to make 2 red with a Rite of Flame. 3 red.
What would you ever need the green for?
Then I will play a First Day of Class.
Oh, I remember my first day of class.
Was it as fun as this one?
You know, it might have been funner.
Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn. I also learned
What are you learning?
Prophecy, apparently.
So now you just sack this and draw 2. Scry 2 and draw.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. Actually, I'm going to sack this. And I'll use my Flint Green to play a card called Chatterstorm.
Yeah.
Add to the storm count. And this, Thoralf, is what I came here to do in my quarterfinals, in my semifinals, and in my finals. Chatterstorm just creates a 1/1 Skrull creature token, but it has Storm. So I'll play this, and then I'll copy it for every spell I've played this turn.
So in total you make 12 1/1s.
Not only 12 1/1s, but if you recall, it is our first day of class.
I fell asleep.
I make 12 1/1 squirrels, and
Oh look, they're adorable.
they are! And each of them enter with a +1/+1.
Oh no, they're not adorable anymore.
They're a little bit bigger now.
Look, I help you out.
Thank you. Not only that, but they have haste. I would like to go to attacks.
Yes. So I will block 1 and
Yes.
then take 11 times 2 damage.
22.
Which is more than my starting life.
Good game.
That was through negate.
Yes.
After sideboarding, it should get a little better. We do get cheap interaction with 4 Hydroblast, which can counter every red spell, meaning Manamorphose, but mainly first day of class, which is the thing that is most dangerous because it gives them all +1/+1 and haste. I'm not really afraid about the 1/1s. I'm afraid about them being free face and attacking me at the same turn. We also spice up the sideboard with a Spore Frog.
We don't need much post sideboard. I think this matchup's pretty good for us. We're just gonna take out one of these Deadly Disputes and put in a Gut Shot, which is super fun because if Thoralf plays a 1-mana Elf on turn 1 and I just get rid of it, he might just not be able to play the rest of his hand. Or it can snipe out a Priest of Titania. This is a fun little tech we're throwing in there. So did you enjoy watching me play? Do you want to do that again?
I hope I improved with some interaction.
To be fair, Dodge, this is not you. I don't think many people can beat the Chatterstorm deck
I tried my best.
and got so far.
Yeah.
But in the end, it didn't really matter.
Obviously, we could mulligan and try to find some piece of interactions, but the problem is then we go down a card, so that means we cannot pair our interaction with a lot of pressure, and giving card a lot of time doesn't even make our interactions good because it's a storm deck. If it draws more cards, it will go off anyway. Mulliganing here might lead to a longer game, but then in the end, how do we win if we not put up the pressure? I will keep.
Oh, actually, wait. Sometimes the Chatterstorm deck beats the Chatterstorm deck. It's okay. This hand could be better. I'll mulligan.
Oh.
It's alright. This deck mulligans very well. Ooh, this hand is bad. I have a lot of mana generation, but only 1 card draw effect, and it draws 1 card. So if I don't get a Chatterstorm, or any of my combo princes, or any color fixing, this doesn't do anything.
Oh.
So we'll just ship it. It's hard, but yeah, I think I can keep this one. It's okay. 5 is fine.
Now actually my hand looks much better.
Yeah, I think this one's a keepable one.
Unfortunate. I'll play Forest and an Elfish Mystic.
Oh, very nice.
Go.
You've done the same game action 3 times with different card names.
Yeah.
I'll draw. I will play the Caves once again. The Crevice.
I'll draw. I will tap my green
Yes.
for a Korean Ranger.
Okay.
Now, I can return a forest to my hand and then tap a creature.
Yes.
Which is good because I only have this forest, but I can reuse it because I can play it again. I will make a green
Okay.
and then untap my Elfish Mystic and return the forest.
Ooh.
I will play my forest. It's totally different forests. I have so many forests, you wouldn't believe it.
Yes. You just move so fast, Thoralf.
Right? I will tap it, now I have 2 green. I will cast an Elfish Vanguard.
Ooh, that's
So,
a good one.
whenever another elf enters the battlefield, put a +1 spawn counter on the Elfish Vanguard. I will tap my Elfish Mystic
Yes.
to cast a Birdsong Ranger.
Storm count 4.
Actually, you're not kidding. I'm doing a lot of spells here. 1 counter. I will tap both of those because Birdsong Ranger lets me tap 2 elves to make any mana. Right now it's green. I will cast a Finton Elf.
Ooh, you are popping off.
So now it gets a counter. And for those 2, I will make a green mana and cast a Curtain Ranger.
It looks like you just dropped your hand onto the table and forgot to pick it up. I'll draw for turn. Sometimes you don't have to win this turn with this deck, and that's okay. We have this Galvanic Relay. We're gonna use a lot of our resources, but we'll get to play it out, exile a bunch of cards from the top of our library, and then win on a future turn. Thoralf?
Carl.
You're on dice duty again.
Oh no.
I will play a Lotus Petal.
1.
I will sacrifice this to make a black and a
That's
green.
even worse when they sacrifice that land.
I will sacrifice the petal to add a red.
Okay.
I will play Rite of Flame. I will then
2.
play another Rite of Flame. We're at 3 now. I played a Lotus Petal.
Yes. 3.
I'll play a Galvanic Relay. It's another card with Storm.
Yes.
It says exile the top card of your library. During your next turn, you may play that card. But now I'll do it 4 times. So I'll reveal 4 cards. It's like drawing 4 cards for 3 mana, which I would say is pretty good. I have a Chatterstorm. I have a Night's Whisper. A tapped land. And another land. That's okay. You know how I still have 3 more mana? Let's draw 5 more.
Okay.
1, 2,
Oh,
3, 4, 5. So next turn, I get to play all of these. We'll put them aside for now.
I just assume I'm screwed.
On the plus side for you, everything's clean.
Yay. I'll draw. I will tap a green and an Elfish Mystic. I will untap the Elfish Mystic
Okay.
with my Curtain Ranger. I play a forest again. Now I have 3 mana and I cast a Timberwitch Elf.
Ooh.
Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for the number of elves, which right now is 7. That makes the Vanguard get a counter. And then all we have left to do is attack and pray. To the gods. Well, how do you pray to anti-storm gods?
You feed the squirrels so that they stay at
Elves
home.
and squirrels are like best friends, right? So you take 10.
I take 10. That's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of damage, yes. Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. I have a first day of class in hand. And a Chatterstorm. I'll leave these open to you because the rest of my hand also is. Let's go through this together. You know, this is not as fortunate as I thought it would be.
You don't have that much mana, huh?
No. These are cards that win me the game.
You have 4 of them.
Yes.
How crazy.
These are cards that provide mana. This is card advantage. And this is mana fixing.
And this is a duress.
I'm going to start by playing a Lotus Petal and this Vault of Whispers. Storm count, please. I'll sacrifice a Lotus Petal and tap this to play a Cabal Ritual. Normally, it adds 3 black to my mana pool, but it has Threshold, which is a very old mechanic. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
Ding, 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 ding.
cards in my graveyard, I get to add 5 mana instead. So I have 5 black in my pool.
Second spell.
I will use one of them to play this Chromatic Star.
Third spell.
I will sacrifice the star to add a mana of any color to my mana pool to make a red. And draw a card. Ooh! I will play a Metamorphose! I did an Andrea Mengucci. I wanted this card, I just tuned it into the top of my library. I'm gonna use a black and a red.
It's like literally the best card. It's rigged.
It will add to my storm count. I will make, it's annoying because, there's a consideration here. I can make red, green, or green, green. Green, green lets me play 2 Chatterstorms and block a bunch. Red, green lets me play first day of class and Chatterstorm, which attacks for a bunch of damage, but it's not exactly lethal, which is terrible here because I die on the swing back. I just need 1 more spell to play 1 more card, but I don't have one. So what we're gonna do is do green, green mana to get Chatterstorm into Chatterstorm, put an insurmountable amount of squirrels on the board, and then either beat him down with the squirrels if he doesn't develop more, or just bide enough time that we get to a spot where we can just combo up again. So it's draw a card and add mana, and I wish it was the other way around.
Yeah.
But I will make green, green.
Okay.
I have 4. I will play a Chatterstorm.
You get 5 tokens.
5 squirrels. And I will use my last mana for another Chatterstorm.
So 11 tokens.
6 squirrels.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, this is gonna stay exiled.
So it's me against 11 squirrels.
Unfortunately, 4 less than it needs to beat an Emrakul. But you're not as tough as an Emrakul.
Excuse me?
Go.
Draw. So I will play a forest and move to attacks.
Okay.
I'll attack you with 6 creatures.
I mean, at the current moment, any unblocked creature spells my doom.
Exactly.
So I will block here. I will block here. I will block here. You can only defend 3.
Yes.
And I'll block here.
I will use my Timberwitch Elf to save 1 Quarter Ranger. It gets +7/7 because I have 7 elves. I will return a forest to untap my Timberwitch. I will use my Timberwitch Elf again to save the other Quarter Ranger.
Okay.
I will return a forest and
Oh no, you have no more forests.
I will tap it again to save my Elfish Mystic.
Okay.
So that means all of those are big, they survive, and they trade.
Okay. So this, they take each other out.
Yes.
And my squirrels here die. Your elves are some of them bigger than my squirrels. I'll pass the turn.
I'll draw, I'll play 1 on the forest.
How lucky to top deck a 4.
I attack with an Elfish Mystic.
That's it? I'll block.
And then I will tap the forest and play a Birchlaw Ranger,
Okay.
which gives a counter,
It didn't need it.
gives a counter to the Elfish Ranger. And I will tap a Mystic and those for another Timberwitch Elf.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
And it's your turn.
So you're telling me I'm dead next turn?
You are horrifically mega dead.
Tough, you go. Draw.
I drew.
Look at your hand.
It's beautiful.
Look at your elves.
They're beautiful.
Look at my squirrels.
They are even more beautiful.
This is most likely the last time you will be in this position against Chatterstorm. Enjoy every moment. Let's have some peaceful music playing.
Can we have a collage, like of me and my elves?
Let's have some nice lights. Oh, look at this lighting. Oh, it's beautiful. There's sparkles.
And like a little sun rays.
Oh, how did you do that? Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay, I will attack with everything.
I'm dead.
Unbelievable. Yes, we did somehow steal a game. I mean, this is the one thing in Magic. If you can do it once, you can also do it twice. I see you've gotten cocky.
I'm already wearing the crown.
The Pauper crown?
I'm a
the
pauper.
Pauper crown.
I'm a pauper. We don't wear fancy crowns. We're of the people. Last game, my squirrels and I went easy on you.
Yeah. You took a little time off.
We slacked off on the first day of class. This day, I'm keeping this hand.
I don't like this day. Buzz, I like my hand as well.
Let's go. I will start off by playing a Peat Bog. It has 2 counters, and it's tapped, and it's your turn.
Draw. I mean, surprisingly, we'll start out with a forest and a Fintorn Elf.
I will draw for turn. Well, I need more cards. So I will play a Night's Whisper. Oh no, my crown. It's holding on by a thread.
Foreshadowing.
So is my Peat Bog. I'm gonna take 2 life
Yeah.
to draw 2 cards. And I'll play a Sandstone Needle.
Lands the top for 2.
How much can you tap? Oh, you play Mana Elves.
I
It's
have a lot
basically
of
the
elves.
same, yeah.
But it's a 1/1. It can hit for 1.
My lands die when I tap them. Welcome to Pauper.
So we're gonna start with casting a Quirn Ranger. I return the forest to my owner's hand and then untap a creature.
Who's your owner?
Thoralf,
Be your own owner.
Ooh, okay. My owner figured out what to do.
Okay.
I'll make a green and then untap my Fintorn Elf
Yes.
to return the forest. So now I have a green. I'll cast a Birchlaw Ranger. So now I can tap any 2 elves I have for any color of mana.
All right.
I play my land for the turn. Then we'll tap the forest and a Fintorn Elf and 2 elves for a mana to cast a Timberwitch Elf. So now
You have a lot of elves.
I have a lot of elves, no more mana, but I can tap this to give any elf +1/+1 for each elf.
I'll untap.
I don't like this phase. Oh no, the lands go to the graveyard.
I'm terrible at farming peak Thoralf. Don't you know this yet?
Yeah.
I'll make 2 black. I'll play a Cabal Ritual.
Surely with good intentions.
Also, I'm terrible at mining needles. I'm gonna add 2 red. 3 black, 2 red.
5 mana.
I'm gonna use a black and a red to make a Metamorphose. It's gonna make a green and a red.
Stop! I think that is
High five.
well done.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'm gonna use the green and the...
Do it again. Do it again.
Are we clapping?
Yeah, that's the sound the Hydroblast makes when it counters your spell. But what? He doesn't have blue mana. I will return my forest and untap any elf and then tap 2 elves to make a blue mana. Poof.
That's the sound Carl makes when he didn't expect to get Hydro Blasted this turn. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I have no lands. Like, almost like you.
Almost neither do I. All right, well, I can do a lot less now. We could use our resources in Storm here, but it would only make 5 squirrels, and 5 squirrels doesn't win us the game. So instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some time, draw some cards, and rebuild for next turn where we could do a Chatterstorm with first day of class and just win on the spot. I'll play this.
Well, at least that you can't really destroy easily.
Actually, I can. I'm gonna use a black and a red, and I'm gonna float a black to Deadly Dispute.
You just hate your lands.
I really don't like having lands. It's gonna give me a treasure, and I'll draw 2 cards. Yeah. Go.
You sure you have still a land? Can you get rid of it some?
Okay, we can leave this here. Now we know what we're playing for.
It's 4 creatures against 1 land.
And a treasure token, I'll remind you.
Well, it seems like my creatures are tiny, but luckily I have a Timberwatch Elf, so I hope we're going to be safe on this one. We'll play a Forest and play a Quirn Ranger. And then I will attack you with my lonely, Kinsey Quirn Ranger.
Just 1 damage, okay.
Yeah, but before damage, I will use my Timberwatch Elf, which gives it +5/+5 because we have 5 elves. I will return the Forest again to untap the Timberwatch Elf.
Yes.
And then use it again on the Quirn Ranger, which now gets +10/+10, so deals 11.
I'll draw. You know what we say about lands here? We don't want them. I'm gonna use a black and a red to do round number 2.
Well, this time it's a bit more obvious that I can do something. But I still think Manamorphose is the best target I have, right? It steals effectively to mana.
It's the best card in my deck. Manamorphose Storm is a very powerful archetype.
I'm not falling for your tricks. I'm gonna negate it. I'll make a blue and another one.
Well, I'm gonna die next turn, and I don't want to do that, so I'll use the floating mana and my treasure to Chatterstorm.
Ah, I should have counted.
It's like a chatter drizzle. I'll put 3 tokens into play.
That thing is strong.
I will pass the turn.
Okay, well, I think nobody expected this, but there's hope. We're gonna play a Forest, and then we're gonna attack with everything.
I'll block these ones and see if it matters.
It does not. I will return my Forest.
Oh no, you saw the line.
Untap the Timberwatch Elf, pump itself, and that would be exactly so.
Thoralf, I believe you get this crown.
I think that was the biggest upset in Magic history.
I wrote stupid hit on it.
What?
Wow. Next round, Goblins versus Elves. People are gonna love that.
That's gonna be exciting. Until the Elves crush it again.